Hello, welcome to our thought for the day. Sometimes in life, faith can feel hard going. You can question things and start doubting some of the things you believe. It isn't always easy. We can be tested by loss, stress, the challenges of life. This can be a time when you try and lean into God for reassurance, or perhaps turn to some of your heroes of faith and take a look at their stories to inspire you. I wonder, who are your heroes of faith? Whose story inspires you? Who encourages you to keep seeking out God despite some of the hardships or challenges you face? There are many incredible heroes of faith, those whose stories are contained in the Bible, like Noah, Joseph, David, Esther, and many others. However, maybe your hero is a Christian who has lived a faithful life. Many people know of the stories of Corrie ten Boom and her miracles of faith in the concentration camps in the Second World War. I've just ordered her book, The Hiding Place, to learn more about what she went through and how her faith and love of God helped her. When I was younger, I remember the huge rallies of Billy Graham speaking of his love and trust in God. Even Queen Elizabeth II met with him to discuss their mutual faith and love of Jesus. According to his website, Billy Graham has preached the gospel to more people on earth than anyone else. As part of his faith, he was against racial segregation and demanded full integration at his rallies. Even at his death, at the age of 99, he was wanting to draw others to Jesus. In one of his final broadcasts, he spoke these words about God. "With all my heart, I want to leave you with the truth that he loves you and wants to forgive you of your sins." Perhaps you have sung the hymn, "It Is Well With My Soul," written by Horatio Spafford, talking about the peace God brings to us in the midst of our tragedies. Horatio and his wife Anna lost their only son when he was a young boy to illness. Then, their properties were destroyed in the Great Fire of Chicago, which had a huge impact upon the family. They decided to take a family holiday together to Britain to recover and heal from some of life's challenges. As they were due to leave, a business issue meant that Horatio stayed behind in America while his wife and 4 daughters went on ahead. Tragically, their ship was struck by a British ship and it sunk very quickly. Anna was saved, but all 4 daughters were drowned, with the youngest ripped from her mother's arms by the pull of the sea as the ship sank. When she reached Britain, she sent a telegram to her husband saying, "Saved alone." I cannot imagine her pain, and yet she still turned to God. Horatio got on a ship to join her, and as he passed the place in the ocean where his daughters were drowned, the words of his now famous hymn came to him. Perhaps you've heard Angus Buchan speak. He is a South African farmer whose story is described as faith like potatoes. If you haven't watched the film, look it up. He was a very compelling speaker who had seen God work in miraculous ways. Some more current heroes of faith are people like Nicky Gumbel from Holy Trinity Brompton in London, who with his wife Pippa developed the Alpha course, which is a fantastic way for people to explore faith. Or Pete Greig, who developed the 24/7 prayer movement, which has spread worldwide. He is also an author and presenter of Lectio 365, which is a wonderful daily devotional tool for spending time with God. I'll put the links for people that I mention at the end of this talk, so if you want to look anyone up, you can. A woman who currently inspires me is Nadia Bowles-Weber. She is an Anglican minister in America, working in prisons and running her church whilst writing and podcasting. She was formerly a stand-up comedian and is a recovering alcoholic. She is frank about her wild past, her character flaws, and about feeling like a misfit. And she talks so beautifully about her need for the grace, mercy, and compassion of God. I love how she offers a welcome for everyone, sinners and saints, so that we can grow in our love or exploration of God together. I work for the current Archbishop of Wales, Andy John, and he is a man who is fully aware of his own humanity and is working really hard to make the good news of Christ more accessible to those seeking. He challenges us to not be afraid to fail, to be bold, and to keep trying new things to reach out to people, spreading the love of God, building community, and standing up in matters of social justice. It was my Baptist minister, Reverend Hayden Davis, who, when I was a young woman, encouraged me to try preaching in chapel for the first time. And he continues to influence me in my ministry today, always challenging me and sharing his wisdom. These are all people who are heroes of faith. However, for me, my greatest heroes are closer to home. There are more in my family that I won't mention now, but I want to particularly talk about 3 women of faith that are dear heroes to me. My last grandparent, my mum's mum, my nana, died recently. She lived a life of faith. A Christian from a young age, she brought up 10 children, taking them to chapel and living a life where they worked hard and pulled together to run a busy dairy farm. She played the organ at her chapel for 60 years. She chose rousing Christian hymns for her funeral, which we sang with gusto. Her and Grandad attended their chapel together for all of their married life. My granny, my dad's mum, also lived a life dedicated to Jesus. She was humble and loving and lived a life doing the little things, as our Saint David, our patron saint, told us to. She loved everyone and never said a bad word about anyone. And my mum had a really strong faith, and it carried her through all the challenges of her battle with cancer. I love talking about some of the questions of faith with her, and it makes me feel connected with her now. She lived her whole life helping and serving others. These are some of my heroes of faith. If ever I feel low or stressed, I remember those who have walked in faith before me, who have followed Jesus no matter what. They have prayed for our families in their quiet time with God, and those prayers uphold me in my life today. I am so grateful to them for the path that they trod and for leading the way, setting the example. I can imagine them picking me up when I stumble, dusting me down and putting me back on the right path once again. So, these are 3 of my heroes of faith. Who are yours? Who is leading the way for you today? Who is signposting you towards the path to God? I'd love to hear who your faith hero is. Maybe you could message me or put their name in the comments below. Thanks for listening. May God shine his face upon you this day and every day. Bye for now.